The title of this poem is Asleep at the Switch. The first thing that I remember was Carlo tugging away with the sleeve of my coat, pulling as much as to say, "Come, master, and attend to the switch. Lives now depend upon you. Think of the souls in that coming train and the grave you're sending them to. Think of the mother and babe at her breast. Think of the father and son. Think of the lover and loved one too. Think of them, doomed every one to fall as if it were into yon fathomless ditch, murdered by one who should protect them from harm, but now lies asleep at the switch." I sprang up amazed, scarce knew where I stood, sleep had o'ermastered me so. I could hear the winds howling, and the deep river dashing below. I could hear the forest leaves as the trees by the tempest was fanned. But what was that noise in the distance? That I could not understand. I heard it at first indistinctly, like the rolling of some muffled drum. But nearer and nearer it came to me, till it made my very ears hum. What light is this that surrounds me and seems to set fire to my brain? What whistles that yelling so shrilly? Oh yes, I know now, it's the train. We often stand facing some danger that just seems to take root at the place. And there I stood, that demon before me, its heated breath scorching my face. Its headlight made day of the darkness, and glared like the eyes of some witch. The train, it was almost upon me before I remembered the switch, but I sprang to it, seizing it wildly, the train dashing fast down the track. But the switch resisted my effort. Some demon seemed holding it back. But on came the fiery-eyed monster, and shot by my side like a flash. I swooned to the earth the next moment, and knew nothing after the crash. How long I lay there unconscious 'twere impossible for me to tell, for my stupor was almost to heaven, but my awakening was almost to hell. For I could hear the piteous shrieks and moanings of husbands and wives, and I thought of the day we all shrank from, when I must account for their lives. So I made up my mind in a moment the river should hide me away, when under a still burning rafter I suddenly noticed there lay a little white hand. She who owned it was doubtless an object of love to him whom her loss would drive frantic, though she guarded him now from above. But I tenderly lifted the rafters and laid them all to one side. How little she thought of her journey when she left for this last fatal ride. I lifted the last log from off her, and while searching for one spark of life, turned her little white face upward and recognized Maggie, my wife. O God, thy scourge is a hard one. At one blow thou hast shattered all my pride, for my life will be one endless night-time with Maggie away from my side. How oft we'd sat down and pictured the scenes in our long happy life. How hard I'd labored all my lifetime just to build up a home for my wife. How people would envy us always in our cozy and neat little nest, when I should do all the labor and Maggie should all the day rest. How one of God's blessings might share us, when I someday perhaps should be rich. But no, my hopes were all shattered, while I lay asleep at the switch. Well, then I stood on my trial, the jury and judge I could see, and every eye in the courtroom was steadfastly fixed upon me. Fingers pointed in scorn, till I felt my face blushing red, and the next thing I heard was the verdict, "Hang him by the neck till he's dead." Then I felt myself pulled once again, and my fingers caught tight hold of a dress. Then the words, "What's the matter, dear Jim? You've had a bad nightmare, I guess." And there stood Maggie, my wife, with never a scar from the ditch. I'd just been napping in my bed and hadn't been asleep at the switch.